Pizza Infinite Studio at the Toronto International Film Festival, this is Red Carpet Diary. Argo was a big hit at last year's festival, but not without controversy over historical accuracy, while our Man In Tehran aims to set the record straight. The documentary features Ken Taylor, the Canadian ambassador in Iran, who sheltered the American diplomats and played a major role in their escape.
This wasn't a movie, this was real life.
I expected I would take these stories to my grave. Nobody'd ever know.
You know, guys, the historical footage in this film is absolutely amazing. How did you go about sourcing all of it and then choosing what you want to include?
Well, I have to say, this is one of the limiting factors. This film was made actually rather quickly, and we were told we had a couple of really great archival researchers who told us, don't even think that you can get this film premiered at this TIFF. It's going to take another year before we can source all that archival footage. And we had done maybe a third of our interviews so far and hadn't really gathered archival footage, and we just kept throwing things at this poor editor.
We had our hands tied, we were blindfolded. We very quickly became pawns in this game. Whoever controlled us controlled the government.
Seizing an embassy and taking the staff hostage was an act of war.
It marked the end of conventional diplomacy.
You know, a lot of people have said that the Hollywood version of this story, Argo, didn't give Canadians enough credit. That's true. Do you think that's the case?
Yeah, I think that is true.
And do you attempt to do that in this film?
Well, that wasn't the intentions that we set out for. While this was in development, Argo was released, and I think that we felt a certain sense of urgency at that point to tell the true story and do a good job of maintaining the Canadian presence in the story, because obviously Argo was focused very much on the mindset and the viewpoint of one individual, which was Tony Mendez.
Mm-hmm. It actually was Tony Mendez as seen by Ben Affleck. Right. Because Tony Mendez also wrote a book called Argo, which actually gives a lot more credit to
very
Canadians.
Generous to Canadians.
So this was in production before Argo? This
was in discussion between the executive producer Elena Semakina and Ken Taylor. They had met, they were talking about the whole idea of maybe doing a documentary. Then Argo came out. And I think that just reinforced, like, you know what, we really should do this. Because in that film, Ken is sort of treated like an innkeeper, like, come on in. Yeah. But in fact, he did a lot of stuff, as our film makes clear, and stuff beyond the exfiltration of 6 Americans.
Thank you, guys. I really enjoyed the film.